Welcome back to We Are Liars podcast. Welcome back to the penultimate.
I can't believe we're here.
We're here. I cannot get over that next week is the season 3 finale. Where did the time go?
Feels so quick.
So quick, but it was 20. It's going to be 24
I know.
episodes.
Well, that's when I remind myself we've been doing this for 20 something weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like
23 weeks of this podcast.
Yeah,
Soon to be 24 weeks.
Yeah, of this season. So
crazy.
pretty wild.
Yeah. So the title is I'm Your Puppet, which is fitting.
Very fitting.
Aired March 12th, 2013, written by Oliver Goldstick and Maya Goldsmith, and directed by Oliver Goldstick. Lots of Goldstick Smiths going on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the summary, Ezra's new family situation eats away at Aria. Jamie is haunted by his shady past. Spencer seeks answers regarding Mona's stay in Ladle Sanitarium. Oh, she does. So many questions, right?
So many questions. I feel like I'm still processing.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I'm in disbelief.
I'm sure you are.
I'm sure we feel all the same.
Yeah.
As a first-time watcher.
As a first-time watcher, I'm trying to put myself back all those moons ago and see how I felt. Yeah, how I felt about it. And then I rewatched it, and I remember rewatching these episodes because when it comes to, it might be like a season 5 mark, there's like some big things that happen, and they kind of make you feel like if you watched the seasons prior, you would figure it out. And so I remember rewatching this episode and the circus and all of that. So yeah, I don't remember how my first reaction was to especially the end of this episode, but
right.
I remember watching this episode a lot. It's a good one. I think it's a pretty good penultimate.
It's really good. They did a really good job, and I feel like they gave us information, but also left us with things that I hope we'll find out in the finale, and also things that we've been waiting for.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
It is really
excited.
Good. Yeah.
Well, let's start with Spencer because we have to start with the whole Spencer in Ladle.
Yeah.
The girls go to visit her, and they're like, you can come home. She's like, I don't want to. I'm not done here. And I think now what we know, like hindsight, we see the end of the episode. Then watching this back again, you're like, I could think about this in many ways.
You have different perspective. I have a fresh perspective.
Yeah, I have watched this 4 times perspective.
Every time you watch, are you like, oh my God, this makes sense. This makes sense. Oh, I can trace this.
I feel like I'm picking up on things, but I also then I get in my head and I'm like, am I reading too much into it? Like I'm making myself crazy.
Wow.
Does that,
right.
So there's some things we'll talk about, especially with the Malcolm stuff. So as I said, the girls are trying to convince Spencer that the body in the woods was not Toby. They're like, it's not. They confirmed it's a John Doe, but it was not Toby, and you need to come out of here. Everything will go back to normal. And she's like, no, I am not ready to come out. She's rude to them. She leaves. And the nurse is like, aren't you going to say goodbye? She's like, oh, I already did. I'm good.
Yeah.
And then Michelle's like, this is weird. Why did she like rustle with her pillow a little bit?
Yeah. And so then I'm
like,
then
she looked at me and I was like, oh.
I'm like, should I not be paying attention to this? Or is this something I should clock?
Right. So the first time watching it, you don't think anything, you did clearly think something of it. But the more you watch it, you're like, okay, what was she doing? Where's their sweatshirt there? Was there pills there? What is in that pillowcase? The slow blink.
The processing blink?
You're processing. And we will have, ample time to process.
Okay,
especially when it comes to next week's episode. You'll have a week to really think about what you feel is happening.
I feel like I have my truths. When you're stressed out, and I don't know, maybe you don't do this, but you go back to basics and you have your truths. So I'm like, I love Ant. I love cats.
That's who
those
I am.
Are like my grounded. Those are my truths when I'm really stressed out.
You're like, Toby is not dead.
That's right. Toby is not dead.
Spencer is not on the A team.
On the A team. Those are my truths.
Those are your truths, and you're sticking with them.
Everything else, I don't know. I don't trust anyone, but those are my current.
Totally.
Those are my current truths.
And you know what? That's a healthy way to process it, I think.
Sure.
Because you don't know what you don't know, and it looks Like things, you're like, wait, this seems like too many things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course you can't go an episode being at Radley without having Ren come. Every time I see this man's face,
I know,
I get so angry.
Oh, me too. But now I'm like, do we trust him and Eddie's wrong?
Who the hell do we trust?
Who do we trust?
Who do we trust? There is very obvious tension between Eddie and Ren.
Yeah.
And Spencer clocks it right away.
Yeah.
And then Eddie goes over and gives Spencer a game. And he's like, here, play this game. It's, you'll probably like it. And then Ren says, basically like to Spencer, like, oh, did Eddie give you this game? He gave it to Mona. Mona was obsessed with it. So it's like, what was Eddie's motives to give her there could be so many motives.
And then this game is a roadmap,
basically,
of sorts.
There's handwritten codes and numbers and rooms
that Mona created.
So we think. I mean, listeners had asked, do you think Mona had created this board or did someone else do it? And Mona was playing.
Right. I'm still unsure, because then it's like, oh, was Eddie a part of this game and helped her and kind of wrote the code for her on the map? Right. And then it's like he knew this existed, so he's like, here, Spencer, you also can play the game.
Yeah, like he knew Spencer knew Mona, and she was questioning, and it seemed though the visitor passes all had to do with Mona. Like, Eddie's very in tune to the things that happen between
I just feel
Mona.
like Eddie knows what's up. Eddie knows a lot of information, and he's giving Spencer sprinkles.
Right. He's like, I can't outwardly say all the things I know. But like he says to Spencer, trust your instincts. My first gut reaction when Ren came here was, I don't trust him.
Yeah, like he's here for different reasons. Which I also feel that way.
Oh, well, Ren is shady beyond shady. There is not one thing that is like honest about him.
And the fact that he shows up and he's like, oh, Eddie, this person needs assistance in room blah, blah, blah. Aren't you...
you are not his boss.
Right, are you...
You're not even a psychologist or a psychiatrist. You are a doctor. You are not Eddie's... I mean, I guess because Eddie is technically a nurse, right? He's an aide. He can administer medication.
Yeah, but what's the word? He's not an intern. He's a
resident.
Thank
right.
you.
I think
but
I'm assuming...
At that place? No. I thought at the hospital. They're interchangeable?
No, that's what it doesn't. I hate this so much because it logically does not make any sense.
Can someone write in and tell us if this makes sense? Should I ask Samuel? Samuel might be able to tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone who is like, going to school for PA or, MD, like let us know what the rules would be here because this doesn't make any sense.
Right. Does your role at a hospital... Is it the same at a psych?
He's volunteering. He's not on the payroll. So why would you?
So then you can't
come in and boss people around. It irks me so much. And unless I know like we have to do this for the wow factor and this for the story. I hate it. I hate it so much.
You kindly looked into what's his name?
Julian Moore.
And what did you find?
I Michelle gave me a lot of homework. You'll hear in this episode.
I did.
But for a couple of weeks, I've been trying to put together like interviews of Julian on his time of being Ren, and then he like had his post of his last episode of Ren on Instagram like a million years ago, and it's like, I loved my journey of being Ren. Like I loved it. I've never changed anything. And I'm like, so you liked him as a person, even though he's to me so problematic, and we'll get more into his story.
Yeah.
But nothing really like him being surprised or moved or any of the things about what his character was doing. And like it might have just been a sign of the times, Clearly this show has a lot of issues with some problematic things. But I couldn't find anything good enough. I was so disappointed.
Wow. I mean, I guess that's great.
He liked his time on the show.
You liked your time on the show.
They liked him. He liked them.
All right.
He had a job, you know.
But he's never at any of the conventions.
He isn't. I mean, he's still a very popular working actor.
I mean, that's great. Maybe, I don't know why I was like so hung up on this.
I would be so interested to see him at one of these conventions.
How he would be received?
Yeah, I'm just curious, like what he would say to people asking him questions about this show.
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
We
should try to our friends at Epicons. I know.
Maybe they've tried. I feel like they've tried. They get everybody.
Maybe they've tried.
They're so good at that.
It would be a good like. Once Upon a Time, they could do some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Remember he was on that show?
Yeah.
We watched that for like a brief moment.
Hot second.
Yeah. So then to add to Spencer's stress, Veronica comes. And she's like, everything's good. Here's this outfit, try it on. And Spencer is adamant, Mom, you're not listening to me. I am not coming home. I am not well. I need more time. And Veronica says, and the transition to this was so infuriating to me. She says, I haven't seen someone this upset or holding a secret since the night I saw Alison in our house at 3 a.m. in the morning. What?
Hello, bomb drop.
But that doesn't transition nicely. That is the most random ass way we could have gotten to this flashback. I don't know.
Right. I mean, it's like written clearly
to get us to the flashback.
Yeah.
And the flashback is, I think it was a couple of weeks before Alison went missing. She was having a sleepover at Spencer's, but snuck out to go back to her house at 3 o'clock in the morning. Veronica wakes up and gets a drink of water and notices Alison has a bloody lip. And she says, please don't tell my parents. They will they will make matters much worse. And so Veronica assumes Jason hit her and said, I thought it was Jason at the time. I did say something to the cops, but I was afraid Jason might out our secret about Peter being his father.
Right.
So I didn't specifically say it was Jason. I just said that she had a bloody lip. And then kind of just, that was it. But what's weird about this scene is that Alison hugs Veronica and the music changes and she almost smiles.
She gives a smirk like, gotcha.
So right. Is it a gotcha? Is it, I need to stop crying right now because she's going to think too much of this?
Yes.
Is it, it could be a multitude of things.
Because she kept saying, like, you cannot tell my parents.
Right. Don't tell my parents, or I want you to tell my, like, I kind of like manipulating Veronica into doing something, like saying something, but knowing Veronica's going to do the opposite or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We don't touch upon it next week's episode, but I wonder what the aftermath, when we'll get a resolution of this, if ever. But
yeah,
I don't remember. I didn't remember this part happening.
Interesting.
Then Veronica comes in and says, is Toby not the person that we thought he was?
Okay.
And Spencer nods.
Question for you. To me now, because I don't trust anybody except for my two truths. The way she delivered that question made it seem like I know she's digging for information and she's trying to be there for her daughter, but the way she said it didn't seem like genuine on Spencer's behalf.
Do you think that the writers put that in to make it look like, again, Toby is suspicious?
Probably, yeah. And I'm going nuts. Mm-hmm.
Right, like, okay, another red hair. Let's like make Toby uber suspicious.
Yeah.
Or she did say, like, I'm not leaving this room until you tell me what happened between you and Toby. Basically, I guess saying, you're in here, I think, because of Toby, right? Like, this is the only thing that makes sense, that would make you snap. You guys broke up. What happened? And she's holding on to a secret, as Veronica says. And that's what made her think about Alison.
Right.
And then saying, well, is Toby not who you thought he was?
Right.
And Spencer just kind of nods like, right.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
Yeah. I
don't know.
Yeah.
But then we go back to Eddie. And this is without anyone there. It's Eddie and Ren, like, verse each other. And he's going to go bring Spencer a book. And Ren says, she's sleeping. Let her have her rest. You don't need to bring it to her now. We're not going to have another problem, are we?
It's like they're peacocking.
Yes, very much so.
But also, I don't really know what any of this means.
Right. Like, it's so confusing. Like,
what do you take of it? Well,
you know. In my gut, and I don't fully obviously remember.
You don't remember.
I don't remember. But in my gut, I think they are setting it up where, as you predicted last week, Ren, which we'll find out, like Ren did do some shady shit.
Yeah.
And to me, and again, I don't remember, I liked Eddie. I like Eddie. I think he's a good person. I think we're supposed to think he's a good person. So I think we just have that juxtaposition of he's good, he's evil, and Eddie doesn't believe him.
Is Ren doing things...
Right, what would it benefit Ren to do these things?
Like, is Ren just making annoying decisions to the viewer, but truly in the character's heart, he thinks he's doing good?
Or is he
working like on the A-team?
Or is he working underground?
That too.
Too soon to tell.
Too soon to tell.
We might find out more.
I hope.
I hope so too. And then we see Eddie go into Spencer, give her sleeping pill for the night, which he has given her. It looks like about 4 at this point, which she has not taken.
Yeah.
She doesn't swallow, which I feel like at these type of places, they would make sure that you swallow these pills.
You would think.
But
where my aunt lives, I don't know if this happens where your grandma, where my aunt lives, my aunt has dementias in a home. There were times when I would find her pills under her bed.
Yeah. And my grandma too.
We had to make a note and be like, you have, please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Please
they would just leave it with a cup of water. Yes! And then my grandma would be like, oh, I didn't feel like taking it today. And it's like, well, you need your heart medication.
And especially someone with dementia, they're not going to think anything of it. Exactly. You need to make sure they're taking or swallowing it. You know.
Unfortunately, you would think, but unfortunately that didn't happen. That didn't happen here. So Spencer, she hides her pills in her pillowcase. So then you're like, as the audience, okay, that's what she was doing earlier, right? She was putting the pills back under her pillowcase, making sure that nobody saw she was hiding them. Makes sense.
Wait. Okay, I'll interject when we get there, but it's like the train just arrived to the station.
I mean, I would love to just, I don't want you to lose it, so you just give it to me.
I won't lose it. I promise you, I won't lose it. Yes.
Okay. We're getting to the near end.
Yeah.
So Spencer, she ends up sneaking around at night. She follows the map that Mona or whoever has left her on this game board, and she leads her into creepy little kid stuff with carriages and cribs.
Seems like a nursery.
Yeah. And then Allie's there and she's singing, and then Michelle goes, oh, okay, it's a dream, because clearly how the hell would she have gotten in there? You know, and she's singing and then she disappears. So,
and then also Spencer says, I haven't slept.
Right. So you're like, okay, she's clearly in a state of hyper reality or whatever it is.
Right.
Because she hasn't slept in 4 days. I guess she wants to stay awake so she can find out every single bit of information. Yeah. Plus, I would be like, I would be freaked out for people to give me a sleeping pill. I don't know.
Oh, me too.
Any kind of like medication that I don't know.
Drugging you?
Yeah.
No.
So she hasn't been taking it. She's overtired, and Allie is there speaking with her, and they're dancing, and she's like, you didn't know me. You didn't know who I was. And says to Spencer, well, girls fight worse than boys. Because Spencer says, did Toby give you the bloody lip? And she says, oh no, girls fight worse than boys. Again, if this is in Spencer's head, is Spencer's making this up. It could be.
Yeah, it does. It's not. Doesn't mean it's real information.
Anything, but it's interesting to hear.
But we take it because now I'm like, oh, we're actually. It just leads to Melissa. You know, it always keeps leading to Melissa.
Right. So then Spencer says, I'm trying to find this star that was on Mona's map. That seems to be like where the hidden treasure is. And Allie says, oh, it's right in there. And then basically she disappears. Spencer goes through this rocking horse, and inside the horse's head, I thought it was like a paper nurse's hat.
I also thought
okay, because on the wiki someone wrote it was like medical papers, but I don't think we see the aftermath of that. But then also that's in there is a badge for Mona to get in and out of Radley with her name tag being Allie D. Interesting. And then an authorized by Ren Kingston pass for CC Drake to visit Mona.
Right.
So kind of surprising because you're like, that doesn't really track CC Mona. Where would they know each other from? Yeah. And then, of course, Ren comes in, scares Spencer. And Spencer's like, you need to tell me what happened here. So he says, I almost lost my job over it. I'm like, what job? You are volunteering.
Well, I guess
what
he's
they wouldn't have asked
practicing towards. Yeah,
absolutely. And so then he says, I allowed Cece to come here because she called me frantic trying to talk to Mona because she felt she could help Mona because she also dealt with the wrath of the Alison De Laurentiis.
No, Alison got her kicked out of university.
Yeah. So now she was on the path of good and like wanted to make amends to people who Alison hurt.
And thought she could be a mentor to Mona. This makes no sense. This is a real reach.
It's a real reach. And then to reach it further and be like, Melissa called her. Why is this like important? I don't know. To me, this sounds like, why do we keep tracking fucking Melissa in here?
Well,
I know why we're doing it.
No, I mean, Melissa makes sense, but in this case, it doesn't.
Right?
I guess it all will make sense.
Was that supposed to shock the audience? I don't think it was. Kind of a letdown. It was exciting to see. Yes, CC Drake went to go visit Mona. Where do the two connect? That doesn't make sense. But then to be like, Melissa told her that Mona was here. Okay. Okay. Like, I don't know what to say to that.
But in CC's mind, why was she like, I can totally be a mentor to Mona?
Because she's
what? Why would you volunteer yourself? That it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No,
CC wasn't trying to do good. Maybe it says CC Drake's name, but it's not actually CC.
Right. It could have been someone else under the alias of CC Drake.
Right.
Who the hell knows?
Right.
Good point. Like, but he did. But then Ren would, unless Ren doesn't know who CC is. And
can't put a face to a name.
Right. Like maybe he did authorize CC Drake, but maybe it's not the CC Drake we know it to be.
Right. Right.
There's many questions, and unfortunately we don't have the answers to them right now.
Mm-hmm.
But interesting to see. What's most exciting though is that we have Spencer back at her room, and now she's rustling through her pillowcase yet again. We see that the pills are there. We see that it looks like all 4 pills are there. And so on the wiki page, people had suggested, and Kate also had sent this in her email, that when we find out that Spencer also has a black hoodie in her pillowcase and 2 tickets to the puppet show, did Spencer take her sleeping pills and drug Malcolm? Because afterwards, Malcolm seems to have passed out when he got home, not really remembering all the things.
Right. Well, that's where I was going to go of like, wait a minute. Spencer has this black hoodie. Spencer has 2 tickets to the puppet show.
Right.
Were they torn? Is this shot, was this scene before? Like, wouldn't they take the tickets?
I guess. Or like,
I know.
For the dramatic effect, we're going to have that. We're showing that those are the 2 tickets. I mean, were they torn? No.
But that's why, right. Okay. So, yes. And then that made me think that she actually kidnapped Malcolm. But why?
Because she's part of the A-team now.
No.
I know. It's just like when Mona Rosenfield. And I know what you're saying. Like, it doesn't make sense, but then again, we have this like banter between her and Mona in this like voiceover of Spencer saying, I don't want to join the A-team, and then being like, wait, never mind, I'm totally in.
Right. I guess I'm just confused in a chronological order of when this conversation happened.
This conversation happened last week. We just see a version that Spencer says no. But in reality, she actually said yes.
So you're confirming right now.
Spencer's on the A-team.
No. Even hearing it. I refuse.
It's so good. I know.
Wait, Spencer's on the A team, like Toby's on the A team to like do undercover stuff.
Spencer's on the A team because she's like, in next week's episode, she says, I'd rather take control of my life and not be a victim anymore. So yeah, I'm joining the A team.
And so I'll do like your tasks.
Because as we know, Mona says you need me to figure out the pieces of the puzzle you don't know. So in Spencer's head, she's like, I'll barter with you. I'll be a part of your team as long as I can find out information.
I mean, isn't Mona cuckoo bananas for trusting Spencer?
Right. It's like, is Mona that delusional that she would think Spencer, but Spencer did. We'll find out next week. Spencer did take Malcolm.
Oh, we're confirming that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's you're to assume that because she has the tickets. So,
yeah.
And next week she says I literally kidnapped Ezra's son. So
you have to now give me information.
She did this to win Mona's trust.
And is this also Spencer staying in Radley so she could be away from the girls and do A stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's a lot. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you watch it back again now in hindsight, you're like, okay, in the beginning, the girls are like, come out. She's like, I'm staying here. I need to I'm
not ready yet.
I'm not ready because I need to figure out. I need to get all my ducks in a row before I leave here.
I get that stuff.
Yeah. I really enjoy it.
No, it's good.
It's also like, it's shocking, but not enough where you feel worried about it.
I don't feel betrayed.
Yeah. No, we don't feel betrayed
because I feel like there's a bigger mission here.
Right. She needs to do this to uncover whatever she needs to uncover.
Yeah, and it's how I feel about Toby too.
Right, and that makes sense. And that's how and then honestly up to this point, the audience, me back in the day, that's how I felt about Toby too. Yeah. It would make sense. You know?
Like, I feel like there's just going to be a scene of like Toby and Spencer reuniting and high-fiving and being like, we were both on the team and we did it.
Right. I'm like, wouldn't that be great? Of like, we're bad now.
or
like, I get, like, okay, we cheated the system somehow.
Right. And they'll be reunited at the end
of next week's episode?
No, just when the
mission's complete, maybe like when she figures out
when the mission's complete.
Yeah,
but how is the mission going to be complete? How does
right? Like, where is the end?
Where is the end? When does Spencer get off in whenever we get a time jump?
Right.
Like, how? I guess my overall question is, how is this sustainable?
Right. It's not
for the many seasons to come.
Right. It's not sustainable. So
okay.
We'll have more answers next week.
Okay.
Kate says, was Ren covering for Spencer when he prevented Eddie from going into her room? Could he have known that she had an A mission that evening?
Oh, that's a really good point.
Great point.
I
love that. Maybe. The mission was to kidnap Malcolm.
No. I meant like the bigger mission of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Great point. That's a great question.
I love that. She also mentions, what is the tension between Ren and Eddie? What are the wrong reasons Eddie thinks that Ren is there for? To prey on vulnerable women? To coordinate the A-team? What did Ren mean when he said we're not going to have the same problem again, Eddie, are we? I assume he's referring to Mona, but maybe not. Did Eddie have an inappropriate relationship? Did he help Mona sneak out?
Whoa. There's so much happening.
Much happening.
Maybe I took it as Ren being like, you're not going to question what I'm doing here.
Like you did last time.
Because somehow I can threaten your job.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have power over you. I need you to turn an eye.
Yeah, and he said last week, I can't say much because I don't want to lose my job.
Right. So he's in a tough position.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's that.
Yeah.
But maybe he did have a relationship.
Maybe.
Ugh. I could see that too.
I mean, everyone wants to know, what do you see happening with Spencer being in Radley? Spencer maybe getting out of Radley? What's this A-team situation?
I'm going to stick with, I think her and Toby will reunite at some point when the mission's complete. And I think she'll stay in Radley while she does some A things. But
so we'll still be in Radley next week.
Yeah. But next week's the finale. So then does this go into 4? Maybe she's in. Okay, wait. Okay.
I mean, Toby was on the A team for
a lot.
I mean, the most of the season 3.
We're still in November.
Yeah.
Okay, we're still in November.
Yep.
Are we in November next?
It's like 49th day in November. Are we in November next week? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So maybe when we pick up in season 4, it's going to feel like there's no time that passed. And we're going to pick up right where we left off since we're still in November. And maybe Spencer will stay in Radley until halfway through season 4.
Oh, wow.
Until they oh my God, we don't know when they graduate.
Well, you said like mid-season 4 they were going to graduate, right?
I did. I don't know if I still feel that way.
Okay.
But I think something's going to happen
mid-season
season 4. And then her and Toby will be reunited.
I can tell you, if you look at our recording schedule, that midway in season 4 is the Ravenswood pilot, which is also the mid-season finale, which is also the backdoor pilot. So if that, I don't know if that doesn't going to help you at all, but I'm just letting you know that we do know that.
I don't really know what Ravenswood is.
I know you don't know what Ravenswood is.
Is Ravenswood a place?
Ravenswood is another town.
Like where a college is?
Maybe. Little sprinkles. Well,
but the main cast isn't really in that show. I do know that because you said that.
The main cast is not in that show.
Okay. Well, wow. There's just so much happening in my brain.
I know. So you marinate. I'm going to start talking about Emily.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go to Emily.
So she's been questioning Pam with any information. Let me know if you find out anything about Toby.
And Pam,
anything at all.
Okay.
She's like, all right, if it's that important to you, I will risk my job and tell my child.
Oh my goodness, Pam.
I mean,
I love her. And can we have like a detective show of Pam and Emily?
Oh my God. The Fields.
The field. The fields.
And where it's just like the field and they're out in the field.
Yes. So
mother-daughter dynamic duo.
The fields. With the shields.
With the fields with the shields. God.
Anyway.
So Emily suggests that to the other girls, they should go to the morgue and identify or not identify this John Doe to prove to Spencer that it's not Toby. Right, Spencer is dead set it's Toby.
Right. It's not our first time in the morgue, so we'll just do it again.
Why not? Mike says, would we ever go?
No.
To the morgue at night?
N-O.
Unless you were like giving me a really large sum of money.
How much? Okay.
I would... What am I doing in there?
I know.
Am I just walking in there?
Right.
Am I opening up a body bag? And what am I doing?
Are you doing this because you really shouldn't be doing it? Because then I would be stressed even when I receive the money.
I don't want to do that.
You know?
Yeah, no, my stomach would hurt too much.
God,
the anxiety. I would be Aria in this episode going into the morgue.
For sure. Yeah, but no.
So no, thank you. When they get inside, they search around until they find, I guess, someone who's unidentified. Or I don't know if the label said it was John Doe. They open it up. Inside the body is a mask, the Alison mask, on top of this person's face. And the girls freak out because they weren't expecting to see that. Luckily, it's not Toby. Listeners and people had wrote in about this body and they thought that it was Miles, the private eye. They thought it resembled him and everyone was thinking that
Tony Hawk?
Yeah, Tony Hawk. And everyone was thinking that, okay, maybe Tony Hawk was dead. Not real Tony Hawk. Right. Miles was dead. But then Brian Holden stated on Twitter that it wasn't him because so many people were like questioning if it wasn't. Yeah, which I never even picked up on. But on the wiki, I was like, oh, that's an interesting fact. That people thought it looked like the private eye, yeah, which is not him. Luckily, not for him.
So now I'm trying to like trace back the steps, right? Redcoat knew the girls were going to the morgue.
I guess so.
Spencer did not know this though.
who knows if Spencer knew this?
That the girls were going? They didn't tell her.
No, but if she's on the A team, maybe she did know.
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is like someone would have to tip off
Redcoat?
Redcoat, because Redcoat was...
Right, so Redcoat makes their way down down the elevator, immediately turns around because Aria's there. And Aria doesn't get to see who they are.
Like, to me, I took that as Redcoat was already there who planted the mask. Redcoat and A, are we treating them as separates?
We treat them as separates in the fandom.
We do.
We treat them, well, I mean...
So they're not all part of the A team?
Well, I mean, she's in charge.
Okay, so Redcoat is like Queen Bee.
Basically, what we know of right now and what people have said and what...
Oh, that's...
You know, like, as of right now, it seems like Redcoat is in charge and the black hoodies work for her.
Okay.
The A team works for her.
Why?
That's all they have said as of yet.
Okay. Why would Queen be down there versus a worker bee?
Right. So maybe to confirm this mask was there. Maybe Redcoat didn't know the A team was going to put this mask. Maybe she put the mask on and then was going to take it off. Who knows?
Or like had to go pick up the mask.
Yeah. Or maybe just didn't realize the girls were going to be down there. Clearly didn't know the girls were going to be down there because they wouldn't have come down.
And Aria didn't tell the girls, right?
No. She just stood there.
She didn't tell the girls that...
I mean, we never get the confirmation that she tells the girls, like, I saw Redcoat.
We also didn't get the confirmation that Aria thinks what she saw was real.
That's true, too.
No one has really...
been, but, I mean...
Hannah brought it up. Didn't Hannah bring it up? Like, oh, I think I also saw someone in a red coat. When the girls were talking about it, or was it Aria? Didn't they have like a little conversation about that a couple episodes ago?
Yeah. Aria had been the only person who had not seen her.
Right.
And now
she has.
So to the audience, I think we can justify that. Okay, it was real.
Yeah.
She went down the elevator. She quickly turned around because they saw Aria. Yes. Okay. So Emily heads to the station, I guess, because during this time she told Aria she would go down there to tell the police about Malcolm, which we'll get to. But she goes down there. She sees that Pam is still there. And she's like, what are you doing here? Why are you holding a missing persons box? And Pam's like, go home now. After Pam gets home, she's like, I need your phone. I can't let you tell anyone about this. But they did find another body in the woods, a young male, late teen to early 20s, in the exact spot Spencer said the body was. And Spencer's purse was there.
Yeah.
And Emily is like, no.
It can't be true.
It can't be Toby. What are, the reasoning? The proof is in the pudding, right?
Also, like, another dead body?
Right, and they haven't ID'd the person because the body was kind of mangled. I don't know if they meant mangled like by an animal or just destroyed from whatever the accident was.
Right.
But they couldn't ID it to be Toby, but they believe it is Toby. And then, we have this just random side story for no apparent reason that Shauna's texting Emily.
I forgot about that.
Come on. I didn't even know if I should mention it, but I felt like I could.
Yeah. And then Aria makes that bad joke. It's like, Em, you better stop or soon it's going to be X in the city.
X in the city. And Hannah comes over. Why are you blushing? Why is she blushing? You like her.
Is this setting us up?
I guess
it's setting us up for like...
I can tell you we don't see Paige next week. So I guess
see Shauna?
We do see Shauna next week.
All right.
So it's like, are we setting it up to have Emily look like she could be having eyes for someone else? Kind of weird since Paige dated her.
Yeah, and it seems like her and Paige are still friends.
Right, friendly.
So why would Shauna do that to Paige?
Right. I don't know why we're doing this, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go over to Aria. Can we cue up the clip I have?
We sure can.
So I did my homework, as I told y'all, that it was Passover Seder, and most of my family, my mom's side of the family, as cousins, we did watch Pretty Little Liars together. So I went around the table, and there are dishes and things happening. This is like live footage. I went in with my
it's like you're out in the field.
I was out in the field. And I got some tape for y'all to hear what my family thought about Ezra and Aria. Do you remember what you first thought about Ezra and Aria?
Yes, I was intrigued and I was into it.
My cousin Brittany. Ezra and Aria. Mom, do you remember what you felt about Ezra and Aria?
Aria is a beautiful name.
Yes, but how did you feel about Ezra? It is. How did you feel about Ezra when you first watched the show? Do you remember your feelings?
No, not exactly. I remember him thinking he was very cute.
Of course you're going to say that.
Yeah.
So you don't remember about their inappropriate relationship?
Right.
You like
now I remember. It had to remind me. Now I remember about the very inappropriate, but it wasn't distasteful.
It wasn't distasteful.
No,
okay.
Right?
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
How did you feel about Ezra and Aria the first time you watched the show?
I think we liked them the first time we watched the show.
How do you feel about it now?
It's disgusting.
Shanabanan.
I think we liked.
Okay,
Like so into it.
when you saw them in the bathroom, you were so into it.
Yeah, he's very handsome with Henry Avenue. Yeah, I was very into it.
Okay.
Then I was a little shocked, but I was rooting for them because I don't know. I like him.
Michelle, I think that Ezra acts her age and they shouldn't be together because it's creepy, but they kind of act the same.
Mentally,
they're the same.
Is that how you
age.
felt the first time you watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's correct.
I also felt a little creep.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah, abuse of power.
Way too involved when you should have just taught and went home.
Exactly. Thank you for your opinion.
Thank you.
I love it. First off, it's so comforting to hear your family's voices, and I love it. But also, like, talk about some thick Long Island.
Oh my God.
He should have just taught. Is that my lovely Sam?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love her so much.
So featured on this clip, these clips are my cousin Brittany, my sister Shanna, you all know, and my cousin Samantha,
And your mom.
and my mom, because that was the group.
I mean,
and we watched.
When I first listened to this, I was like, I know G's gonna say he's so handsome because it's what she says in every text message that Ian Harding's in a Christmas movie.
She loves him in the Christmas movies, and like, yeah, Ian Harding is adorable.
He's adorable, and he's a great actor.
He is.
He is.
And what I thought was so funny is that my mom said it wasn't distasteful.
Yeah.
Though. I guess she meant it as like, because I mean, this was ABC Family. I guess like she meant it wasn't like
sexual.
I mean, to an extent. I guess in her memory, it wasn't sexualized.
Right. Like we're not
sexualized.
like visually seeing them
right
have sex on screen.
Right.
So maybe that's what she meant about
it
by
wasn't distasteful. That cracked me up. And like, this is a show. I mean, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
This episode 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So
that was great. I'm so glad you did that. Thank you.
Me too.
I mean, and the fact that like your sister and your cousins watched this show and your mom, you know, on
it was
occasion.
family time,
So-
and then Ing, and we would just.
You guys all you remember your perspective on it.
We did, yeah.
Yeah.
And even my sister was like, I think we liked them in the beginning. She's like, but now, obviously, no.
Right.
And then I said, like, I remember my cousin Brittany really liking Ezra and Aria because she always, that was the type of relationships that she would like on television. You know, like, everyone has their couple, and that they weren't my couple. I always loved Caleb and Hanna. So, you know, we all have our things. But over to Aria and Ezra. Ezra doesn't really seem to care that Principal Hackett knows or doesn't, you know, was lied to, basically, that Aria said they weren't in a relationship because they just like sit out on the street.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not going backwards.
Right, but it's like, your girlfriend, though, already made you go backwards because she told the principal that you were not dating.
Yeah.
So, like,
I guess
you can't
in
have
his
it both
mind,
ways.
I don't know. It seems like we're very unfazed. We do need a job, but maybe it's just like different. We're going to live life differently because I have a kid now. So, like, I don't want to lie. I don't want things to be complicated.
Right, and, like, I can respect that.
I can respect that, too, but... Yeah.
But your girlfriend's in high school, and it's going to be the high school that you have this job interview substitute teaching at. So, you know, it's a little tricky there.
Mm-hmm.
He tells Aria, Maggie and I, we both have things to do, which I'm like, what did Maggie do when she was living by herself in Baltimore or wherever she was? You know, she made it work. Now we have to rely on Ezra a lot.
Well, I guess
we're
maybe she
there.
has a support system there.
Right. Which is great for Malcolm to have his parents both taking care of him.
Yes, it is.
But then, of course, we have to have it where now Aria's watching him again. And she was hesitant. She's like, after last time, I don't think Maggie's comfortable. And he's like, it's fine. You can do this. Please just pick up Malcolm from karate, which made me infuriated.
You were fuming.
I was just going in about this plot of Malcolm being in karate when he still has the freaking Band-Aid on his chin. He has been in Rosewood for 3 days max. Not even 2 days.
Is it like when you're a parent
And he's already in karate?
Or is it I need to get my kid feeling as on a schedule as quick as possible, so let me sign him up for something? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have kids, so
it was like, oh, he has his own cubby. Like, it was like he was there for
the whole
6
time.
months. Exactly.
You're right. Yeah.
It just irked me a bit, but I get why we did this. So Aria goes to pick up Malcolm, but he's already been picked up by Aria Montgomery. And Aria is shaking like a leaf. She heads to his little cubby, sees that there's the tickets or like a flyer for this carnival, I guess, in town.
How would you know to head to the cubby? Would you do that?
No, I wouldn't.
I don't know if I would know.
I wouldn't have, but you know, it's a show that we have to find that out.
I got it. I'm like, wow, it was so smart of her to look there, because I
know
wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have either. I would have just immediately panicked.
And
I probably wouldn't have been able to think about anything logical to do.
Same.
Like looking in the cubby.
I don't even know. I like to say in this current state that I would do the right thing. I'd call the cops or tell Ezra right away or whatever. I don't know what I would do.
I don't.
You'd probably try to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, it's not right. I'm not saying that's the best thing to do, but this situation makes me so uncomfortable and uneasy.
It was
as
so
it should,
uncomfortable.
as it should.
And then she doesn't say anything to the instructor. The instructor's like, everything okay? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. Great.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if you would have said, oh no, that is not Aria Montgomery. I am Aria Montgomery. I'm freaking out now. And then it would have been on them because they didn't ID her.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so.
I know.
And Aria's like, I don't want to make a production because I don't want A to retaliate.
Yeah.
In some way.
Right.
It's really tricky. So she ends up going to the carnival and Ella sees her there. She's flustered. She doesn't know what to do. She's on the phone with Emily crying. I don't know what to do. Should I call the cops? Emily goes, maybe, but do you think that's going to be worse? What are they going to do? Like, we don't know what to do. She sees Malcolm with a hooded figure, and so she knows he's okay, so she tries to run after him and eventually finds him sitting by himself in an empty theater where the puppet show was. Even though before he was sitting with A, eating popcorn away. I love the glove and the popcorn. Oh, so good.
So I'm thinking if it was Spencer sitting there, she probably took her hood off.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, think about this audience filled with children, and you have this one hooded figure.
Right, with black gloves.
It's a little suspicious.
No, definitely. It's so infuriating that this little 7-year-old boy, I mean, we can't blame the child, right?
Nope.
Obviously. But goes with this stranger. She says her name is Alison, which freaked everyone out when you hear that. Like, okay, what do you mean? Because at this point, you don't know who took Malcolm.
Right. And
so he says, oh, your friend Alison came to get me. It's like, why are you trusting this Alison person?
Yeah.
You don't know her. She's a stranger.
Right.
And then he's okay, but he's eating his ice cream. And then he goes home and Aria is sitting with Ezra at dinner and Ezra's on the phone. And Aria's probably like, I'm dead inside.
Dying inside.
What is Ezra going to do? What's going to happen? And Ezra's like, oh, you're Malcolm's hero. He had the best time. He mumbled something about puppets and then passed out. Like, he had the time of his life. Doesn't even make any sense about puppets and whatever, and passed out.
Yeah, that's
it's like
so
weird. So that's why people were like, did Spencer actually give him a sleeping pill? Or half a dose or something.
How did you even know that would work and be effective?
Right. No, I don't.
And then the idea of drugging a child. No, I don't like it.
I hope that that's not the case.
Yeah.
But, it as a 7-year-old boy, him saying, oh, I hung out with Aria and her friend Allie at the whatever circus. I guess with the other parent, you'd be like, cool. Not think anything of it.
I guess so.
And like believe, I don't know, would he eventually say like, oh, Alison picked me up from
Yeah, no,
karate
I think like
and-
this is something that comes out a lot later, and be like, oh, you know, like, or when you're a teenager and adult, you're like, you know, this is so weird. When I was a kid, this one time, this like black hooded figure picked me up.
right?
Like I'm thinking about it, like that was really weird.
Right, I'm thinking about it. I have a memory of
Like
this.
we shared popcorn and they wore the leather glove the whole time. Like that's strange. You know, and sometimes weird childhood
you're
stuff
like, oh,
pops
I
in.
remember a weird thing.
And then you talk about it in therapy, and you're like, wait, what?
Right, Malcolm in therapy at like age 17 being like, hey,
I think we need to touch upon
I think
this.
someone kidnapped me when
Yeah.
I was 7.
Low key.
Oh, it's
I
so
think
bad.
This happened. Yeah.
But Aria is so withdrawn that she doesn't know what to say other than, I can't do this anymore. And Ezra's like, yeah, I know, I've had those days. And she's like, no, you're not listening. Like, I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
being mommy, taking care of your kid, like stressing out so much because of A. And I needed to go walk home. Like, don't come with me. And Ezra's like, oh, come with you. No, I need to get some fresh air. Like, he's not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Vic says, will Aria tell Ezra about A? Or what happened to his son?
I don't think so. I feel like Malcolm's going to say something and then Ezra will question. But Ezra seems so like laissez-faire about things. Like, yeah, man, whatever.
We're good.
Or
Just happy
maybe
to have a healthy kid.
He'll tell Maggie and then Maggie will question. It's got to come out. Or maybe it won't. Maybe this is something that like...
Right.
I mean,
like, she got away scot-free, but also the internal feeling of
so
sitting
much
with
so
this,
of her to be like, I can't do this anymore.
Right. She's like, I can't risk your child being in danger. So how about we end this until my A stuff is situated?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Also, like, without A, it's like this was a lot on her to begin with. Her
Yes.
whole life has changed.
Yes.
His whole life has changed. The relationship dynamic has changed.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And lastly, we have to talk about Hanna. All is well with Caleb for like a moment.
Yeah.
And Caleb's like, we got the same scar. We got this. It was very sweet, but as I teased last week, it was not going to last. So
I mean,
you
it
feel
was so
bad for
predictable
Caleb.
with that.
It was
with
predictable.
the Jamie stuff.
It really was. So Caleb can't thank Hanna enough for bringing them together. He then, you know, she still has this $5 bill lurking in the back of her mind, but she's trying to get past it. And then Ella tells Hanna, how well did your mom know this Jamie? Because the bell that used to be there, that was $8,000, has now been replaced with some fake bell.
Like cheap.
Yeah, and we think, you know, the only person we can look to is Jamie. So she's like, don't tell Caleb, don't say anything. But then Jamie goes out to dinner with them and he's being so nice, and Hanna doesn't know. She's so uneasy because she knows all these things, and he gets her this angel's necklace and she's like, I can't really take it. And then he gets a phone call from Pastor Ted and he gets fired. And so Caleb's uproar because he's like, what?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. You know, they're not, just because he doesn't tuck in his shirt. And Hanna has to admit, I saw him use the same $5 bill I put in the church pew, in the church donation box.
Yes.
And he believes her right away. He doesn't really question it.
Which we said, like, we appreciate
goodness.
that Caleb, you know,
Right.
is trusting Hanna on this.
Yeah. But unfortunately, it was all a ruse by A.
How did
A do this?
know that he was going to use that
$5 bill
in front of Hanna?
How? Where was A in that church? She was alone by herself in the
How?
church.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
This-
Of course.
You just have to let it go.
You have to let it go. And it's so frustrating and so sad because Caleb now has found sort of this relationship with his father, and now he blows up on him.
Right. But he did see that text.
He did see the text. So now he knows, okay, A did set my dad up. And he did go to chase after him, I guess, to apologize. Like, all you can say is like, hey,
Like, why?
I didn't want to believe that you were good, but I'm sorry. It was
Yeah.
just kind of like reflex.
I know. And Hannah's like, I don't know how Caleb's going to forgive me.
She didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I mean, she showed him what proof she had
right.
that A gave her.
Yeah. And
It's so
and
frustrating.
Caleb like wants to be a part of the A stuff, wants
He
to be in the
does.
know. So I don't know why Caleb would be mad at
Right,
Hannah for this.
I don't foresee him being mad at her, but
No.
I think And honestly, if I had to put money on it, I think that's the last we see of Jamie.
Stop. I was going to ask if he's on the island. This was just...
If you bet me $100, I would bet $100 that was probably the last time we saw Jamie. I will confirm.
Wow, this was real dumb.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, did we need to do this?
We just need to torture
thing?
Caleb.
We tortured Caleb and Hanna, proving A can do all. And
what?
Like, what was the... I guess, like, haha, revenge. You tried to, like, out me. Now I'm going to give it back to you.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Do better. I mean, I guess we are with Spencer.
Right. True. Right. So, like, this storyline is kind of like, that's it. Vic wants to know if we thought Jamie was innocent this whole time, or if we believe that...
No, I did think he was a little suspicious.
He looked... It seemed like it could have gone either way. You know?
Yeah. I didn't think A cared enough. That's why I didn't think A was messing. I thought this was just an annoying, you know, stupid storyline.
Yeah. My Lucky Leons didn't get pasted in here. Let's go back. Darn you.
Do you need me to pull it up?
Sure, you can.
I could read it this week. Let me pull that up. All right.
It's time for a Lucky Leon's Ladle.
Here we go.
Oh, wait, hold on. I didn't even talk about... Hold on, before we do a Lucky Leon's Ladle.
Oh, my God.
I did not talk about the end scene.
The end scene.
Where we have another body, the new John Doe, being wheeled in a body bag. And we see the tattoo. And if you zoom in closely, like, and someone who has watched this now 4 times, I don't think the first 2 times I really kind of put it together, but Wiki and all the people were saying the tattoo is smudged. Like, that was fabricated, like, not really actually Toby's body. Someone made it look like it was Toby's body.
Right. Even if it was a perfectly placed tattoo,
you still wouldn't have believed it.
Still wouldn't believe it. But the fact that you pointed out that it was smudged, I'm like, yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right, because the body wasn't there long enough, I think, for all of that. Well, maybe it kind of looked like it was ink, but also bruising.
Yeah, right.
It was hard to tell. So to me, I didn't really think anything of it, but it would make sense if it wasn't Toby's body and them, like, actually.
That's sick.
Someone drawing this on him? Or sickening. Yeah.
Sickening. Like, Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, now, Michelle, please read the Lucky Leons.
Lucky Leon's Ladle. The scoop of the week is Ben & Jerry's Dirt Cake.
Oh, my God. This sounds already like I'm going to love it.
Vanilla pudding ice cream with chocolate sandwich cookies and chocolate cookie swirls topped with milk chocolatey ganache and chocolate cookie crumble.
Yes, please. Wow.
Whoa. The top layer of milk chocolatey ganache and chocolate cookie crumble are hardened at the top of the ice cream, hiding what is underneath. So at first glance, all you see is the chocolate. Just like the episode, we are only seeing things at the surface and not what is hiding underneath. We saw Spencer holding a black hoodie with the puppet show tickets. I have to read that. I'm like, where did I leave off? Okay. We saw Spencer holding a black hoodie and the puppet show tickets at the surface. We would assume she's on the A team, but what is she hiding? Another example is the fake church bell. Hanna only saw what she thought was in front of her, but didn't stop to think if there could be another explanation. Finally, we keep seeing Toby's tattoo on this unknown dead body. But is that good enough for us to believe he is dead? Or is there something deeper that we haven't seen yet because they are only focusing on the surface? I gave this episode 4.5 scoops.
Wow, that's a high rating. Thank you, Mike. That was a great representation for this episode.
Very good.
I would love to have some of that ice cream.
I've never heard of... When I think of dirt cake, I don't know why I'm thinking
dirt pudding.
Yes.
Which I love.
Me too.
Speaking of dirt pudding.
Do you have some?
No, I would love to make some. No, but I made dirt cups for when we had that... It must have been that episode. The Raven, when I dressed up as Red Coat, and
oh my God,
Brittany dressed up as Ren. She was in a doctor's outfit.
Stop.
And we made 8 cookies, and I made dirt and cups with, So anyway,
you guys are so.
It was so fun.
But I love it.
I love a good crumbled up Oreo and some pudding. Give me a little gummy worm in there. I love it so much.
It's so simple too.
It's so good.
I really love pudding. No, I really love pudding. I get cravings for
I
pudding.
know Anne's been telling me he's been having to get you pudding every week at Whole Foods.
It's funny because I'll
like,
go
"Yeah,
through these
Michelle
times where I'm
pudding."
like, I want the pudding, and then Aunt will bring home the pudding, and then I don't touch the pudding
Oh.
because I don't want it anymore.
Oh. Well, maybe you need to crush some Oreos on top,
I need to make some dirt pudding.
and then you'll want it more.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. But thank you, Mike.
Thank
for
you, Mike.
that. We'll go for an MVP and shittiest.
Sure.
We'll do MVP on 3. You got
Yeah,
it? All
yeah.
right. 3,
3,
2,
2,
1,
1, Emily. Emily was really good.
Hands down.
I mean, she was like, I don't have time for this BS. We got to see if this is Toby's body.
Yeah. And then she's like had this nice relationship with her mother and being like respectful of it. And
Yeah.
it just was really good to see her finally coming out of her shell.
Yeah.
Not that she hasn't, but she's like, oh, I'm not messing around anymore. I need to figure this stuff out. Spencer's not here. I need to be the next one to take over, which is nice to see her step into the role.
You know what? It kind of
makes sense.
Yeah, she would be the next one to lead.
Hanna and Aria definitely not.
They're
Definitely
preoccupied with their
they're
boys.
they're not up to it.
No.
Shittiest, I guess. Do you have one?
Yeah, I mean it's a bad one.
3,
3,
2,
2,
1,
1,
Ren. Yeah, because
he
he sucks.
annoying.
He sucks.
But if we're utilizing him, he became a little bit more interesting.
He did. I
in this
still
episode.
just don't. The whole demeanor of him, I just don't like.
Yeah, no, I know.
Even if, let's just say, Eddie was bad and Ren was for the greater good, I still don't like him.
I hear you.
You know?
I do. Yeah.
What would you rate it? Cringe 1 through 10? I wouldn't say this was cringy.
No.
I was trying to think if there was any scenes that we laughed at even. I don't think there was. I didn't say it was like a 1.
Yeah. No, this wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad at all.
Unless we're totally missing it. I don't.
No.
Yeah. No, not bad.
All right, great.
Wow.
Right? That was like the lowest we've given it all season, I think.
I think so too.
I think it's probably the lowest we'll give it. I think next week probably has some stuff in there that's pretty cringe.
Sure.
Okay, so next week is the finale of season 3. Oh my goodness, episode 24. It's titled A Dangerous Game, and all of the A's are capitalized. A dangerous game. I have a secret in a single quote. Shh. The bitches are finally going to get what they deserve.
That could mean
Who do you
so
think
many
said
things.
that quote?
Right. So that could be a team saying that about the girls. That could be the girls saying about A and the team. I feel like it could be Spencer saying it to Mona, which doesn't actually mean it.
No, whoever said this means it.
Oh.
They mean it.
But like, okay, they mean it.
They mean it. It's a showdown.
They mean business.
Mm-hmm.
I
will not give you anything.
No,
I want
I know.
you to be totally surprised for next week.
I truly, I keep hitting the arm. I'm sorry. I truly, I don't know what to expect. I can only feel like I can make predictions for what's to come in terms of broader scale.
Okay.
But you did tell us, maybe you can confirm this because I think you did. We find out if Toby is dead or alive next week.
I didn't confirm that.
You didn't?
I confirmed that
I
we
was
will
trying to
find
trick you.
out what Toby's purpose was being on the A team.
Oh.
Which we will next week find out.
Okay. Probably Spencer finds that out from Mona.
Good thinking.
And we're still in November.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another thing I wanted to know by the end and you said we would get confirmation?
I think you asked me about Wilden.
Oh, yeah.
Which we kind of...
No, if Wilden was alive.
Yeah, which
he
is.
That the car situation.
Yeah.
And I guess the blood test is just never...
Just gonna let that go for
I have
now.
to let that go? Okay.
That ship is sailed for
I
now.
wonder if the finale ends with Hanna being taken away, like being arrested for the car situation.
Oh, okay.
Or her mom.
Yeah, so like if we think about the grand scheme of all the things that are like lurking in season 3, we have that car situation. We have the Toby A team situation. Now we have Spencer on the A team and being at Radley. Ezra and Aria with the Malcolm situation. What do you predict, if anything, it will happen with them next week?
I think Aria will end it.
She'll end it.
But then I think it's not going to last long because she's going to see him at school.
Mm-hmm.
They need to break up for a little while.
Yeah, the audience needs a break.
Yeah, but also for them as a couple, like we need some tension, I think. So I think they will break up. I think it will be on Aria's part. Hanna and Caleb, I guess, they'll be fine.
I mean, now Hanna just has to still have the
car situation.
Right, the potential of people finding out she did that. I mean, Aria was there too, but, you know, Wilden is still alive knowing that she has a part of this somehow.
I wonder if they will find the car. We don't know how deep Rosewood Lake is.
It's not very deep.
It's not very deep.
It's not very deep.
Something will be discovered.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. As always, our finales are recorded live. We will watch with our patrons. We will record live in the chat. Everyone will be there. So if you're interested, head over to Patreon and join us for our finale episode next week.
It'd be great. It'd be great.
It's gonna be great. I cannot believe it's gonna be May. First of all, it's gonna be May. I haven't even seen that meme yet.
Well, I think because
I also haven't really been on the interwebs. Lately, but
I haven't seen that meme yet either. But I think we'll see it next week.
Yeah, when it gets closer. But it will be May, and we will be here and we'll be recording the finale.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Till next week.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.